¿Qué me dices si nos vamos donde nadie nos moleste y lo hacemos con locura como lo quisiste siempre? ¿Qué te parece si esta noche te atreves y dejamos de aguantar?
Okay, I think we got that one correct. All right. Now I got my audio fixed. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. I'm Justin Wagner. This is TeamODZ Live, and we have got a fun one for you today. I'm doing Wagner to Wagon, and my mouse is lost. There it is. We are just all over the place today. We're a hot mess, but hey, you know what? We are going to give you guys a little bit of view into late joining an event on RGT. So, hey, what's up, Andy? So, event already started here. You can see you got a few people that signed up for it. And we are going to go ride now and see what it's like when you late join an event. We're about 4 minutes late. So, here we go. Let's check it out. What's up, Tam? Let's see what happens here. Okay, so we're going to start us with a group-ish. Let's see if we can we're gonna see if we can find Rob and Ian, which I know are up here somewhere. At least they were signed up. Let's see here. Keep jumping. We'll get it eventually. Okay, watch this. Ready? Vroom, vroom, vroom. And there we are. We're with Rob. And we're going to turn our audio on in game. Hey. Good morning, Rob.
Hey, good morning.
A little bit of a late join, but oops. Get in that group with you. Of course, I forgot to set the bots to a lower number like we had last time. My apologies. Hopefully it works out.
We have a good little group up front, which is nice. Had to get rid of a bunch.
Hey, Owen. Andy. Welcome, welcome. Gotta get in that draft. Okay. Slot in the draft here. There we go. So Rob, anything new with you? It's been a while since we chatted.
No, nothing going on. Did a little racing.
Nice.
RGT. Continue to use Ruby as my day-to-day.
Okay. Yesterday I got suckered into some Scotland badges on Zwift.
All that bling. I've noticed the CDA, things are even more accurate than before.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Adjusted things recently?
Yep. And I did a team time trial I filled in for a North American group. And the freaking steering is awesome for that.
I bet. Yes, Andy. I steered clear of your joke, of your dogs eating people joke. Funny. Once auto avoidance is back off, my guy keeps jumping around all over the place. Perhaps it's because I'm not doing low enough watts to actually stay on the track. Not sure.
I noticed the bots are fighting to just all be in front. I definitely got schooled towards the end of a race in a three-man break when people were much faster at the steering than I was.
Oh, what do you think they were using for steering?
Yeah, I don't know, but you know, we were on the right side of the road, and then they would attack and swing all the way to the left to get the gap.
Interesting.
Right? And then I'm having to take my hands off and start pushing on my phone.
Yeah. Definitely for racing, having something right on your handlebars is better, I would imagine. I mean, I haven't tried it, but it seems logical.
And then at mid-race, I use the manual steering because I'm on the rocker plate and I just don't want to deal with the
Yeah, for sure.
sway. A drop of sweat turned it back on the tilt. And my guy started going right to left, right to left. I had no idea what I was doing.
Oh, man. First world problems.
Yeah.
An anteater walks into a bar. The bartender asks, "Want a drink?" Anteater says, "No." And then, "Food?" asks the barkeeper. "No," says the anteater. To which the bartender asks, What's with the long nose? Hey Frank, thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, Owen, their proof of weight processes are kind of ridiculous. It's almost like proof of life for a hostage scenario. Okay, we got another small split here. Dropping a few bots.
Bots took the wide angle of that corner.
Hey, what's up, Mark? Welcome. You know, and there's a reason your weight in Zwift never matches, is because they gave you a tool so it could sync all the time and then broke that tool. It's their own fault. Ain't nobody got time to update weight manual every day. Silly. The bots don't want to let you go, Rob.
I'm waiting for them. Anytime they hit a little bit of a slope, they go backwards.
Oh, you have a speaking scale. Yeah, I can see that. Mine's a quiet scale. I do weigh in daily just to shame myself for the food I ate the previous day. Mainly that's what it's for.
I have a Fit Track scale,
Okay.
and this past month they rebranded their company called Cube.
Okay.
And now the app is just nothing full of ads to try and sell a pro subscription. Like, you just can't go in and just weigh yourself without getting served up each time.
Like maybe the company's not financially viable and somebody bought them to turn them around and rebranded and revamped their business model.
Exactly. You know, they were a device company.
And now they're an advertising company.
An advertising subscription company. Which is going to make their device useless, because I'm not going to pay to subscribe to something.
Yeah. It's like I was looking into those smart shutoff valves for your home water.
Yep.
And many of them required like a $5 a month subscription or higher to actually have useful features.
Right?
I was like, no. I know what the computing time on the cloud costs to do what you are doing, and you provide very little value on top of that.
Exactly. It's kind of like the home security cameras. We're not used to this all be free. But
Right.
now they want to charge a subscription to cloud storage, which I know is significantly more than the S3 bucket that they're dumping it into.
But on the other hand, so I've looked at this one, considered setting up my own local storage that I maintain,
Yep.
and honestly, I think it's cheaper, at least, so I'm using Ring, and it's like $100 a year for as many cameras as you want at your house. So I have like 8+ cameras all set to basically record any motion whatsoever and upload it to the cloud. And their user interface is pretty good for like going back through history, which I think is the key to any surveillance system. If the UI to find something in the past sucks, you'll never use it.
Right.
So that one I'm okay with, just because otherwise I'd be buying some, you know, I'd need some really reliable system. Let's say I go 500 to $1,000 for my own NFS. Well, now I'm already at a 5 to 10 year ROI, and I have to do more work myself than just let stuff upload to the cloud. So,
No, I just think they need to put an SD RAM slot in the camera. You don't need to have 2 years worth of video history.
true, but having it on the SD card makes it harder to share. But if you're only consuming it for yourself, I've had several times, I guess as long as you could download it to your device, but
Exactly.
I think it also makes the scrubbing harder, because I'm pretty sure the cloud's doing processing on events and stuff to give you the metadata so you can scrub the history easier.
Right.
That's my theory. At least all SD card based approaches I've seen have had terrible user experiences for finding history.
I just think eventually subscription overload
Oh, for sure.
raise its ugly head.
Every company knows. Every company's pushing subscriptions because, well, it's better for their business model. And many things, I will pay for the subscription because A, I want that product or service to stick around. And they might dry up otherwise. So, in those cases, I'll pay for it. But there's certainly some where I'm like, yeah, that does not justify a subscription.
Like my scale.
Of course. How much do they want for their subscription?
Geez, I want to say that it was like 15, 20 bucks a month.
What?
For like a $75 scale.
$15 a month?
Yeah. You know, they're trying to be like a Noom.
Oh, jeez.
You know the weight loss subscription.
Oh, jeez. Well, they just don't know maybe you're not a standard user, maybe you're not a typical user, but that's ridiculous. 50 cents a day to upload a number? I mean, come on.
You can still upload your little number. You just have to, it's just the whole interface is cluttered with the shit you don't have access to.
Yeah, they use the, let's say I bought it 5 or 6.
They need a basic app, and then they need their paid subscription app.
Right. I think I'm using the withing scale that I think got bought by Nokia. But their app still does everything for your subscription. Maybe that's because Owen says $15 per decimal place. And how much is it if you want them to upload the wrong weight to Zwift? How much does that cost?
They do that for free.
No, I need them to like change the number so that there's like plausible deniability that my weight is wrong. Like just go up and down a few decimal places every day, but like be off by 20 pounds. So they'll look at it and be like, well, he's clearly updating it every day. Has to be right. Not that I've thought that one through at all, Rob. I read about that on the internet somewhere. Or I've been watching too much White Collar. Are you familiar with that TV series?
No.
It's a series about an art felon, like a con man and an art thief, who the FBI chases. He's really good. They catch him, he goes to jail. And then the agent that caught him has a case come up that he would be a fantastic consultant for. So he comes out of jail, gets a tracking anklet, and he has a radius, and he becomes a criminal informant for the FBI. And except, is he really reformed? Or he's still kind of doing stuff on the side? And then like there's cases where like he's doing some shady business on the side and the FBI gets word of it and he has to like get him off their trail. So it's this funny duality of is he the good guy or the bad guy? And that's pretty fun. It's
Sounds
several
good.
years old. I think it's like 5 or 6 seasons.
Wow.
My wife and I have been watching it on Amazon. Of course, they have it. You can stream it for free with ads, of course.
Washington, it takes you an hour and a half to watch the 20-minute show.
Yeah, it's not that bad, but certainly, like, when they start off, all the commercials are like 30 seconds or less, and you're a couple seasons in, and all of a sudden there's like 3-minute long ads.
Yeah.
You get the same Crohn's disease medicine ad 3 times in a row. Okay, come on, guys.
Paramount's really bad with the long ads.
There was, of course, Amazon was doing their own advertising, and they had some foods being advertised that are sold on Amazon that had a barcode, and it was like, binge now, scan here, and buy this. Guess what my wife bought at the grocery store 2 days later? She came home with it. I was like, that ad got to you, didn't it? She's like, yes, it did.
The power of the impression.
Right. Andy says, if you believe in telekinesis, raise my hand. Okay. Wait, okay, I got you. Not my hand. Yeah, got it. Yeah, my wife and I have watched that series 2 times already, so this is our 3rd time through, and we still love it. It's been a couple years since we've seen it. Just wait a few years, rewatch 6 seasons of it again. Three times my wife's like, oh, I totally know what's going to happen next. I'm like, shh, don't spoil it. I don't remember. I want to keep it that way. Owen. I'd like to welcome you all to this week's meeting of Plastic Surgery Addicts Anonymous. I'm seeing a lot of new faces in the group. Hey. So my wife got me a book to take to team camp. The official John Wayne Big Book of Dad Jokes. And I got a few pages in. It was pretty corny even for me. The subtitle says, "Good clean fun for the whole family, Pilgrim." I'm like, I don't know John Wayne, but was Pilgrim like his slang for like dude? I thought about signing it and giving it to Ufa in person, but I didn't have the heart. I didn't want him to be indoctrinated with such terrible parts of American culture. Well, I'm pretty sure Dawn last year had given him another dad joke book.
These bots are cruising along faster.
Yes, they are. Rob, do you know the clinical name for not being able to sleep and eating instead?
I don't know that.
Insomnomnomnomnomia. Thank you, Andy, for that one. Hey Fernando, welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a great day. No, I don't want auto avoidance on. Turn that crap off.
Mine just went on.
Well, at least they're not playing, the bots aren't playing RG Bargy yet. They're at least somewhat stable.
Yeah, they were when we had more of them.
The second auto avoidance gets turned back on, you go flying out into the wild. I didn't push you to the side, did I, Rob? And he says, I usually wake up grumpy, but today I let her sleep. Hello. That was dangerous. That's dangerous territory, Andy. You know we record this, right? Good news is with camp, I was able to raise my fitness quite a bit in 1 week, but I just don't have the time to dedicate to keep it at that level. So it's been trailing down. Hey Bonnie, thanks for sharing the stream. Was that the end of your third lap, Rob?
I think so. 15 miles, or about that, so it seems right.
I started about a third of the way into the first lap, so I'll be a little bit under you.
We had more real riders on. Something happened to them.
I think we had 9 signups. Hey Muriel, watch it. I was trying to slide back in. Well, we had quite a few that one week, and then I screwed up the start time, and then camp, and now daylight savings between US and Europe. So yeah. But I think we're back on I figured out with RGT, when you schedule events, they're definitely stored on the server in UTC, and so then after daylight savings, you need to change them if your time zone changes its offset, which is fine and dandy. It's easy to do. You can do it yourself, it turns out, Rob. Isn't that crazy?
Wow. You don't have to email somebody?
You don't have to email somebody and yeah.
Self-service.
It's a crazy idea.
I bet you that certain somebody back then was having to go into the database directly.
They were a SQL expert?
Yeah.
Or NoSQL, probably more NoSQL, but probably still had a SQL front end on it so people could query with nice SQL queries.
Then somebody wrote that person a script.
And then both of them got fired, laid off. It's like we know a thing or two about the tech industry. So I went to you familiar with the term DevOps?
We have a group.
I went to a DevOps conference last week, since that's roughly what my team does. And there was a new phrase there that I learned, pretty interesting, called developer productivity engineering. And so the premise is that, like, a lot of software engineering is actually a creative task, and you want to enable developers to be as creative as possible and spend less time doing like troubleshooting or figuring out like things that can be automated, basically.
Changing event times.
So the notion is basically it makes there's a huge business proposition, especially when you have large numbers of developers, to put automation around things that they spend a lot of time on that are not bringing value. So basically, let's say you have 100 developers and you save them an hour a week. Well, you just got yourself 2.5 more developers that week, right? Because you saved 100 hours. That's the equivalent of having 2.5 more people on your staff.
Getting rid of mundane tasks and doing business
More
innovation.
efficiently. Yep, making it easier to keep the code quality high, do tests, while still enabling the true creative workflow. Because there's been a lot of push for software engineers need to behave more like machines, do everything in a very strict way. You're like, that actually doesn't make them very happy. They are people after all, and they want to be creative. Anyway, it's been fun. There's a company who's been promoting that term, developer productivity engineering, who has a lot of white papers and such on the topic.
Yep.
I've been reading up on.
Hence all the new low-code application platforms.
Right? Exactly. just reading a suspense novel about a Rubik's Cube. It was full of twists and turns. Ugh. I actually don't like autobots at all. So annoying. Owen says, our company's most valuable assets are the staff. I say we sell them. Oh boy.
Google and Meta did.
You're right. Well, that's the whole defense industry summed up for you, Owen. Hire engineers and sell them to the government. Buy low, sell high, as they say. Did you know that Star Trek's Captain Kirk has 3 ears? There's the right, the left, and the final frontier.
All right.
Have you ever played Wordle? This is not a joke, this is actually a real question.
I have not.
You know the premise of the game?
Yeah.
So we have a little text thread where once you get done playing, you share it with our family. You know, just kind of encourage each other to play. And my brother got his first guess was completely wrong. All 5 were not included. Yet his second guess was the word exactly. And my son, who's 12, was like, "Man, what are the odds?" And my brother did say, "Hey, I didn't cheat. This is real." And my son's like, "What are the odds that go from getting nothing to all of it, just like that?" To which my brother responded, "Well, ask your dad about combinations and permutations, and I'm sure you can calculate the probability." And the text thread, we call it Wordle Wags. And my son goes, "Man, this is devolving from Wordle Wags to Nerdle Wags." Like, oh boy. Fruit doesn't fall far from the tree, folks.
2 games in 1.
Oh, it says, when you say buy low, are we talking emotionally? Like a clinically depressed workforce? Well, I mean, as long as you could legally bill them to the government, I'm not sure whether or not they're depressed actually matters. And I'm sure somebody in the defense industry has had that has justified that exact thing. I mean, stage 5 cancer, they only can okay, I'll stop. You get the idea. the thing that I probably told you this story before, but when I worked in the defense industry, they're all about, you know, billable hours to the government, obviously, because that's how they make money. But they would, many years around Christmas time, they would offer bonuses, and not for spending time with your family. They would legitimately say, like, during the week of Christmas, if you work 5 hours of overtime on top of a normal 40, we'll throw in, I don't know, this amount of we'll pay you for the overtime and throw in this bonus. And if you go to 10 hours, it gets even bigger. If you go to 15 hours overtime, it's like really big. And it was like, really? They were just trying to make up their quarterly report numbers, or the annual report numbers at the end of the year, by basically paying people to skip Christmas with their family. Like, not sure I like that motivation.
You must have took the Christmas sweater.
I think there was one year they were offering it for like 2 or 3 weeks in a row, and I did like the week before Christmas, because I mean it was big. I want to say, like, so they paid you if you worked 40 hours, they paid you for that. If you worked 15 hours overtime, you got paid hour for hour for that. And then they tacked on, like, I think it was like $1,500 on top of that, just for, like, that was the bonus. It was an extra $1,500 or something. So if you did that, maybe it was $3,000. It was very tempting, whatever it was. I want to say, like, if you would 55 hours, 3 weeks in a row, it was a lot of money. So I'm sure several wives were like, well, we'll see you in January, have fun. Or husbands. I mean, women work too. Owen says, we promised this. Now it's on you to deliver. Reminds me of the Onion talk where it's for the garbage powered vehicles. And the guy says, wouldn't it be amazing if we solved trash problems and pollution at the same time, powered cars on garbage? I've had the idea. We're halfway there. And now it's just up to engineers to implement my idea. Oh boy. The last Onion talk I heard had me in tears. Oh boy, Andy. Okay. That was too easy. Matthias might make it. He might stay with us. There he goes. All right, Matthias, now pull through. It's your turn. Oh geez, Matthias. Don't take that. Now Rob's playing games.
Napa's in corner right.
I know, he took me out with him. I kind of agree with you on that one, Owen. Did the last stage of the Wahoo tour on RGT, and I was more impressed with the systems apps interface for workouts than RGT's. That's funny. You thought the erg responded quicker than when you say Sufferfest, you mean the system app, Owen? Because I swore it was the other way around for me. I thought erg was quicker to respond in the system app than it was in the RGT app. Could be trainer dependent. What trainer are you using, Owen? I'm using a Cyclops hammer, so maybe they've optimized for the kicker. The original Neo, okay. Well, Matthias is coming back.
He goes downhill well.
Yes, he does.
What did they do during that Wahoo tour? Just demonstrate the platforms?
It was basically the Sufferfest replacement. That was the intent. Although from Sufferfest of years ago, it was about half the volume.
I just want him to get it on Apple TV.
I mean, I think the system app is fantastic, honestly. I think it's got lots of good workouts in it, lots of engaging content. It's good stuff. It really is taking the best of Sufferfest and filling it out with more content. Yeah, it was a great fundraiser for Parkinson's, and B, it did give people a good taste of the widespread of types of videos that are in the system app.
Right.
The one that I actually thought was the easiest was, there was a day where they had you, it was a pro ride tour, so they dropped you in on the camera of a racer in a real race and basically made a race to simulate the last 45-50 minutes of the race. And it was fun and like engaging, but basically all they had you do was like, you were freewheeling most of the time, and then like you'd kick up spikes all the time, but erg wouldn't respond that fast, and there's no way you would shift that fast. So you just kind of had a bunch of small surges. Maybe I'm more used to small surges, but it wasn't, it didn't seem very taxing to me. It was fun and engaging though. So that part. Yeah, you ride the power profile that rider put out in that race.
Do they make it adjust it according to what your own FTP is?
Yeah, for sure. Yes.
So you feel it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Yep. But you're going to feel it.
The tourist video on the Portuguese coast. Yeah, that one was... Yeah, that one, if you followed the cadence on that one, there was some pretty difficult low cadence there. But if you didn't follow the cadence, then yes, that one was pretty simple. I think that was the one with the cadence. Also, to get to the other side had some cadence cues that made it a bit trickier if you actually did them.
I've noticed that this side of the road, or this part of the course, the road kind of surges a little bit and lags for me.
Interesting. I noticed that I saw you fall off from Matthias there.
Yeah,
so
but
slightly.
then on the rest of the course, everything's fine.
So Owen, here's why that video was probably not so difficult. Well, it was more difficult for me because I knew how he should have been pronouncing everything in Portuguese, and he wasn't. So that must have added to my mental fatigue. I was like, no, you didn't just say it that way. Oh, this terrible pronunciation. All right. Well over halfway.
Our time's going to be longer than before since the CDA change.
Yeah. You didn't happen to see what the time was right when we went through the last lap, did you?
Yeah, I want to say it was like 104, hour 4. I mean,
Okay.
at the halfway mark.
At the end of the 4th lap, yeah, because it's 8, or is it? No, it's 10 laps. We've done 5.
Yeah.
We're on number 6.
Okay. Because there were times we could do it under 2 hours before.
Yep.
This one's going to be at least 6 minutes longer.
So there was one of the workout videos was following a bunch of cyclists who were training at this UCI facility, I think in Africa. You like started at their house in the morning and they ride like their buffalo bikes to the training center. Nice. And then they open up their locker to get out their road bike that's like, it's not a fancy race bike, but you know, it's carbon. It has, maybe not even carbon, I don't know, but it definitely had aluminum wheels, rim brakes. But, and they say something about, you had a tough day on the track yesterday, so we're gonna go hill climbing on the road. And they take you out, you do like basically, they have a team that's trying to get their climber to the top of this climb. And so basically you just ramp and ramp and ramp and ramp and ramp. I think the first interval I think is like a 30-minute ramp from tempo to FTP, and then there's a short break, and then there's like a 15-minute race at FTP that kind of ramps as well. So that was actually pretty fun because you had the team car in your ear, people were pulling off, turning up the power ever so slightly. Okay, so it's a 25-minute ramp threshold. It was hard to tell because they broke it up into 5-minute chunks because your teammates pulled off after 5 minutes-ish. The director sportif in that video was definitely more comfortable in Spanish than she was in English. Yeah, the fact that you didn't know exactly how long the interval, yet it was long and it was engaging, that just speaks to how good the content was. Take your mind off of the pain. Rob's getting crazy on his steering. The bot like veered towards you. It's funny. Good morning. Is that you, Ian? Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Just got down in the pool, so we gotta jump on here for a minute.
Você está ainda no Brasil?
It was fun.
So he didn't pick up enough Portuguese while he was there.
No, I did. I understand a bunch of Portuguese. I just can't speak it for crap. We did most of our meetings in Portuguese, and I returned in Spanish.
Nice. Actually spoke in a Spanish congregation of our church recently, although they had a real-time translator, and rather than try to write my talk in Portuguese and deliver it in Portuguese and have them not understand it, I said I'll just write out my talk in English, give it to the translator who translated it in real time. So then when I can do conversational, like small stuff. So when I was talking with the translator in like Spanish and Portuguese afterwards, he's like, wait, how come you didn't? I was like, because a 15-minute talk is a whole different thing than 30 to 60 seconds of conversation that's always the same.
I understand that. I've had to do presentations and briefings. When you start getting, regional or country dialects and accents from the East Coast.
Did you at least have some Guaraná while you were there? Hey! No. Not a fan of the Guaraná. Hey, thanks for the raid. Much appreciated. Maxime Bernard.
Are you talking like Guaraná, like the type of meat? The alpaca type?
No. Guaraná is a fruit made in Brazil that they also make a pop out of, based on the fruit. It's very close to like apple juice or ginger ale, except it's not either of those because it's. If you've ever heard of guarana in energy drinks, that's the American butchering of Guaraná.
Right. Okay. Now we did not have that. We're drinking mostly the Brazilian coffee. The cappuccinos are awesome.
Okay.
And water, and it was hot. And beer, and bottled beer. I don't like bottled beer. Which is kind of like water. I know it's a bit redundant.
A lot of the places I was in, a little more rural, a little more poverty.
Yeah.
You had to buy bottled water just to try to, like big bottles, right?
Yeah.
But people would just drink Coca-Cola because, well, it almost costs the same as water and it's cheaper than water.
What is if you look at caloric value?
Yeah. I'm sure that's really healthy. Just really helps them in their station of life.
Whoa, just sped up.
I saw that, yeah. Except I think we all slowed down and sped up at the same time.
Yeah, look at that.
Whoa.
There goes the end.
I've noticed it at that exact spot in the final K.
Yeah, there's something going
before.
on in the cloud.
Yeah. I've noticed on RGT lately that it's been a little bit more jumpy like that.
Yeah. I think it's the CDA thing that they implemented.
guys from my legs are a little sore from the fitness test yesterday.
From what yesterday?
Oh, I had a fitness test yesterday, so
Oof.
yeah, I had to do deadlift, standing power throw, which is you take a 10-pound medicine ball and throw it over your head backwards for distance.
Mm-hmm.
And then Henry's push-ups. And then a spread right Henry shuttle run, which is 25 meters down and back sprint. 25 meters down and back, dragging 90-pound weights. With handle, you know, like a T-Rex fan.
Sounds like a series of poor life choices.
Yeah, and then 25 meters down and back carrying 40-pound kettlebells, in each hand, and shuffle down and back, and then sprint down and back. And then it was plank, and then a 2-mile run. And I'm pretty happy I did my deadlift. It did 3 reps. I did 260, pretty easy, what it did. Did everything fine. And then I did my 2-mile run. I meant to do like in 12:30 just to cruise. But we started with a pretty good sized group. There was a group already on the track running. So like my predator instinct took over. And the first lap was 76 seconds. And after we got normal track, I was like, ooh, this is a little hot. I backed it off some, but still, I ran like the first mile in 5:35, and the next mile in 5:50 or something like that.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just cruising the last mile, but I was just, like, I lapped every single person on that track. So, but I haven't really done that kind of effort in a while, since November. So, yeah,
Well,
that intensity.
I'm also sore from my workout yesterday. I got 3 badges on Zwift, and it took me like 30 minutes.
Wow.
In 3 separate rides. Yeah, it really was taxing. It was really
You were
stressful.
going to say that you went through 2-3 dozen donuts.
Well, I did while I was getting the badges, yeah. Three dozen donuts in 30 minutes. That,
Impressive.
yeah, that would be impressive.
Oh, did you probably didn't see it, but did you get a chance? And I know you're not really close on it, but watch this triathlon, but watch Lionel Sanders' video from Montreal Super League.
Okay.
Arena Games. He sucks at swimming. He's a bad swimmer. And he came out of the water like 27 seconds down after 30 meters.
Uh-huh.
And I want to say it was like 4 or 5K bike. It's on right next to it. He pulled back a lot of that time and then ran it down from 8 to 4.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he was pushing like 450 watts the whole time on the bike.
Nuts.
Just absolute smashing. I think it was 4K on the bike, and we did it at 5:08 on Crit City.
Yikes.
And then they have one on the Super League YouTube site from the Montreal the finals, where he did okay, but can't do the same thing because he's swimming so bad.
don't know if I told you, Ian, but I did some cross-country skiing the other weekend.
Nice.
I've done it before. I did it when I was in high school. Just haven't done it since. And my hip flexors were quite sore afterwards.
I can imagine.
We did
Classic
about...
for skating.
Say what?
Classic for skating.
Classic. We just went to a groomed place that had, you know, the track, and rented some stuff. We did about an hour and a half, and in that hour and a half we also did about 800 feet of climbing, which sounds nothing on the bike, but it was a work. You basically started up above, went down to like there, you descended down to where they had the village where all the skiers and snowboarders were hanging out, and then to get back up you had to go back up 800 feet. I think it was like 5.5 miles total, so with that, you know, almost 10K.
Yeah,
What was it?
My buddies used to do, I think it's called telemark, where it has like the grip on the front.
Okay.
So you can climb like alpine, you can actually go up mountains, because you do that with the RGT mountain skiing.
Oh wow. Yeah, we had a blast, and honestly, being so close to the mountains, I could see myself going cross-country skiing every month or so, just for a change of pace, because there's so many beautiful mountains around here. Might as well take advantage of it. Obviously that won't happen in the summer, but
Why not?
I'm trying to think of the name off of hold on, dang it, can't think of his name. Olaf. I'll have Olaf explain it to you after he gives you a big warm hug.
Is that an animated character?
It's a snowman from Frozen.
Okay.
There's obviously you don't have children, you've probably never seen Frozen.
I've seen Frozen once, a long time ago. My niece was like 5.
Yeah, he's the sequence where he's saying he talks about how he loves the sunshine or something. He wants to give everyone a big warm hug, and you're like, don't want to burst your bubble, but that might be suicidal.
Yeah, so the skiing is telemark skiing, but put like this little grip on the front.
Okay.
Catch it.
When you put the skins on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I didn't have the right form, and that probably played into some of my pain. Because, you know, it's been 20 years since I've done it. Of course I had the form down properly.
Oh yeah. And you did it like all the time as a kid, right? Like,
Yeah, of course. But once I did it as a kid.
yeah.
And I think when I did it as a kid, I was in shape for running long distance, so I probably had stronger hip flexors.
Right. And you were a kid.
Right, both. It's really awesome, and there's just so much snow that, like, you basically you're going cross-country skiing around like campsite loops and stuff. So you see a lot of these. You see a lot of where like they built like a restroom in the middle, you know.
Yeah.
Except the restrooms, you know, however big, but the blob of snow on top of the restroom is like 4 times the size of the restroom. He's like, whoa.
So I have the Super League Montreal games on. Lionel Sanders, obviously a long course guy, 7 seconds slower in the first 25.
Whoa.
For the first 50.
So maybe it wasn't 4 times as big, but it was at least as big as the roof, if not 40% larger than the roof and pretty tall. So point was, it's like, looks like a huge mushroom. And you're like, there was still a gap where you could have like maybe slid down and got down to the door. But like opening the door, A, was probably locked, and B, you know, there's like 5 feet of snow within 2 feet of the door. So
So my power tap pedal finally died.
oh man.
They started giving me trouble after we got back
Uh-huh.
to Arizona, and I had a permanent red light of death bulb going.
How many years have you had them?
9.
Okay. It's not a bad life.
No. Not at all. So
You've been looking into replacements?
yeah, I'm looking between the Borrego, Osceolas, and the Wahoo one, the speed plate.
I've heard a lot of good things about the Osceolas.
Yeah.
Um,
VCR loves them. Thank the Buck White, especially.
yeah. I don't know if I'd switch to speed play.
Yeah, I mean the Osceolas use the look fleet, which I already used. So
Yep. Yeah, that's a big driver.
yeah, so that's kind of where I am. Plus they're cheaper.
Yeah.
$100 cheaper. But I could probably get 2 sets of Osceolas. For just a little bit more than, well, just a little bit more than the Garmin, and a few $100 more than the Wahoo, once I Wahoos.
Yeah. And if I know anything, the convenience of having it at the right place at the right time is worth more than, I don't know why they're trying to premium, but yeah, start with the Osceolas, and if you need a second pair on another bike somewhere, well, big deal.
Well, I mean, the nice thing about these I can take around move around with.
Yeah.
A cheap pair means I don't have to switch them off my bike to my road bike. I can just go back and forth between road bike.
Do you really change your pedals that often? Are you actually going to change your pedals that much?
Oh no, I do. Like on the weekends, I spend more time on my road bike. So, I mean, every week I'm changing pedals.
I mean, in theory, I would use the same Garmin Vector pedals outdoors as I do on this indoor bike, but
Yeah.
ain't nobody got time to change pedals, so I have a separate power meter on my outside bike.
It only takes me a couple minutes to change it. So it's just a quick Allen wrench. Bang, bang, done. Definitely gonna get 1 pair. Like I said, I'm considering 2, just because then I can swap the one between my road bike and my cross bike under the gravel. And I don't race on my road bike, you know, so if the power's
Got
a
it.
little bit different, that's
Right.
okay. But I mean, how different is it really going to be if it is the same pedal, the same company?
Not very. Even across companies, even if it's 5% off, are you going to notice? Exactly. Owen says his Asioma spent the winter on his track bike. There he goes.
So Owen, are you? I'm not in Discord.
No, that was on the stream.
Yeah, are you big? Do you like the Asiomas, Owen? Any complaints?
You know who also has Asiomas, I'm pretty sure? John Stoker. He says nothing to compare them to in terms of power meter. But if you had any complaints, never put them on a trainer bike. I could be wrong, but pretty sure. Jerry Delport has Asiomas. Owen says he doesn't have any point of reference to compare them to, and he's never put them on his trainer bike.
I mean, because I always am worried about our power dropouts, you know, the battery life, things like that. And
You'd never know about power dropouts if you're only using it outside. Well, if you're using anything other than Zwift, you would never know about it, including outside.
the little power drop, I mean, where the pedals just stop communicating for a second or two. Young American who's doing this race, his name is Chase McQueen. Like, come on, who couldn't pick a better name?
Chase McMeek?
Chase McQueen.
Oh my gosh.
You know, like Steve McQueen or the
Lightning McQueen.
Cars. Yeah, that one.
I went to a stand-up comedian this past week with my parents and my brothers, and the opening comedian's name was Kermit Apio, and he said, "No, I did not choose the name Kermit." People have asked me, "Oh, did you choose that as your stage name?" He's like, "Why on earth would I ever choose that as a stage name?" That's a curse from my parents. He's like, the first day of school was bad enough, except my mom gave me green bell-bottom jeans to wear to school. That made it even worse.
That's horrible.
like we're starting to lap some.
Yep. Watch out for sticky draft. Or non-auto avoidance, I guess you would say.
Kimberly's going to make it back.
20 meters back, they might catch us. Her and Saul. They've been dangling that close for that long?
Yeah, they've been slowly closing it every lap.
I guess Matthias is getting worn down. He doesn't have anybody to trade turns with. We're just sucking his wheel.
Yeah.
If those two catch us, that means our last 2 laps will be faster.
Yeah.
Unless they catch us and then we get blown apart because some of them get stuck on the lap riders, which is most likely going to happen.
They ride 3 abreast.
Lionel, they finished the first round of 3. He pushed 5.8 watts a kilo for 4K. And he said, I'm just pissing myself. And he ran almost 20K an hour for 1K off that bike. He's an animal.
Crazy stuff. I wonder if they'll close more on the uphill here. Two laps to go. Here's my guess what'll happen. Matthias will get stuck on the lap rider, and then Saul and Kimberly will catch us. Or they'd just reel us in. One of the two. Not if Rob pulls us ahead, so they can't catch. Go to the right one slot, Rob. There you go. We're back one slot. There you go. Now you're right in front of Matthias. Oh. You gonna see if he gets stuck on that left rider?
Yeah.
Nope. Oh.
One more, I'll try this next one.
Nope. Oh. Nope.
They're going too slow.
right, boys. Got to get to work.
All right, see you, Ian.
See y'all later.
See ya.
Have fun.
My heart rate monitor is cutting out.
Okay. Okay, coming up on the final lap. Well, Matthias hasn't closed the gap. You've been steadily pulling away from him. 200-meter gap now.
Kimberly and Mathis are just about ready to catch your top.
All right, you can take front. To see how much we can save while sitting on Rob's wheel to the finish here. See how low I can get the heart rate.
Post in.
Yep. Get that heart rate down so I don't have to wait as long afterwards. Usually like to have my heart rate down at a nice low level before I stop spinning the legs. Helps spin out the gunk.
Mine's incorrectly going down. I think it's probably a low battery.
Alright. So I'm going to start looking on Twitch to see who we can raid. Sam's 78. We'll get that ready. Alrighty. Folks, thanks for joining us. Thanks for having a great time. Facebook and YouTube, you're going to get the outro seen by Twitch. We are going to go raid, so join us next week for more fun, and we'll see you around.
Thank